Hello, my name is Christopher Hardy, and today I'll be presenting the story of my character, Tamara. Tamara's life journey illustrates how race, class, and systemic inequality intersect to shape personal outcomes. Through her story, we'll explore the role of social theory, the concept of intersectionality, and the valuable lessons I have learned from this case study. Tamara was born in South Los Angeles in 2005. Her parents, Marcus and Renee, loved her deeply, but financial hardships shaped their lives. Her father struggled with a heart condition but couldn't always afford medication, and tragically, he passed away when Tamara was just 7 years old. This early loss highlighted how poverty and systemic barriers directly impacted her family's well being. Tamara's adolescence was marked by hardship. At school, she faced racism and exclusion. Feeling invisible, she turned to gangs for belonging. This path led to conflict with law enforcement and time in juvenile detention. However, a court-ordered counseling program became a turning point, helping her confront grief and systemic injustices that shaped her anger. Tamara eventually earned her GED and pursued social work. By 27, she became a youth counselor, guiding others through the same struggles she once faced. Despite financial challenges, she used her voice to advocate for healthcare, education, and social justice, transforming personal hardship into community leadership. Conflict theory argues that society is structured by competition for scarce resources. In Tamara's life, this is clear when her father passed away because life-saving healthcare was out of reach. Poverty constrained their opportunities, showing how systemic inequality shapes life chances. Critical race theory highlights how racism is embedded in systems, not just individual prejudice. For Tamara, racism shaped her school experience, where teachers treated her as a problem before hearing her voice. These systemic biases compounded her challenges, demonstrating how race and class intersect in her struggles. Intersectionality allows us to see how Tamara's experiences cannot be explained by race, class, or gender alone. Being a young black woman in poverty exposed her to overlapping disadvantages, from healthcare barriers to educational discrimination. These intersecting forces shaped her path more profoundly than any single factor. Comparing Tamara to Alyssa reveals how intersectionality operates differently across contexts. While Tamara's struggles stemmed from systemic racism and poverty, Alyssa's came from family dysfunction, yet both were initially punished instead of helped, and both changed only through supportive intervention. Intersectionality helps us see how unique social positions create different challenges and solutions. The article, The COVID Pandemic and Social Theory. Social democracy and public health in the crisis highlights how crisis expose fundamental questions of social justice, especially regarding healthcare and inequality. Delany discusses how thinkers like Agamben, Foucault, and Zizek frame crisis as movements when systems of power and governance are tested. This connects directly to Tamara's story. Even before COVID, her father's death from lack of affordable healthcare demonstrated how neoliberal systems fail the poor. The pandemic amplified these same inequities as communities like Tamara's were hit hardest due to unfunded hospitals, precarious jobs, and systemic neglect. The social democratic critique mentioned in the article calls for stronger public health systems and state intervention to support vulnerable communities. This perspective directly aligns with Tamara's advocacy work as an adult. Her push for affordable health care and education reform mirrors the broader call for moving beyond neoliberal neglect toward a more equitable, socially democratic version of society. In short, Tamara's lived experiences reflect the very issue raised in Delany's review: the tension between neoliberalism and social democracy, and the urgent need to reimagine society in ways that prioritize justice, equity, and collective well being. The most valuable lesson I've learned is that true change comes from support and intervention, not punishment. Both Tamara and Alice's stories show that systemic inequality and trauma cannot be solved through harsher discipline. Instead, resilience grows when individuals are given counseling, mentorship, and resources. This case study taught me to apply theory in real world lives, to recognize systemic barriers, and to see intersectionality as a critical tool in understanding inequality. Apologies for my voice and everything. I've been sick lately, but that concludes my presentation.